Okay, so here's the easy mock puff pastry recipe that I said I was going to share with you. In the bowl, I've got 3 cups of flour and a half a teaspoon of salt. The reason I've added salt is because I'm using unsalted butter, and you're going to need that. Now, I'm going to use this for a sweet pastry, so I'm also going to add a couple of tablespoons of sugar. If you want to make a savory pie with it, like a, chicken hand pie or something like that, then don't add the sugar. But that's what I'm doing. Now, my butter is frozen, and this is the easiest way to mix in the butter. A lot of recipes for pastry, they say cut in the butter and that kind of thing. And you can use forks or knives or whatever you might happen to have for that to cut the butter in. But if your butter's frozen, all you have to do is take a grater and just grate the butter right in. When you do this, it allows you to just mix the butter in with a spoon or with your hand, and it goes really, really easy. You don't need to watch me grate this, but this is going to be a cup of butter that I'm adding to the 3 cups of flour. Okay, so look, a little secret I'm going to tell you. I got rid of that other grater and switched to my box grater. I don't know why I started out with that one in the first place, because it's terrible. Those are too small and they're about half size, so it takes you forever to do that. So get a box grater. If you don't have one, just get one. You're going to need it. It works way better. Now, you'll notice when you get down to the little bitty last pieces, they're kind of hard to do, so just crumble them up. Okay, so that's a cup of butter that we've grated in. It really didn't take very long. Now, all you need to do is just kind of toss that around with your hands, and what's going to happen is it's going to be just like when you cut in fat and flour with a pastry cutter or a fork and a knife, or however you do that. Okay, you get all those nice little crumbly pieces. Every time I do this, I imagine Mary's mother-in-law in Zimbabwe making this recipe, all those many years ago when they were on the farm and stuff. I never met her, and I never went to their farm, but it just kind of takes me back to a different place and a different time, and it's a fun memory. It's one of the reasons I like cooking so much, and especially baking, because there are just so many memories associated with it, and you can literally just feel them in your hands. It's awesome. When you cook with someone, then you'll always remember that time you spent with them too. Okay, now that you've got the flour and the butter in there, along with your sugar and salt, you're just going to take 1 cup of heavy cream and add that in there. Just dump it in there all at once, and you want that to be cold. And just mix it up with your spoon. Probably you're going to have to get in there with your hands a little bit to bring it all together. If it's too wet, you can add more flour. If it's too dry, you can add a little bit more cream. But all you want is for all the dry ingredients to get moistened, and then to be able to hold it together. I cannot mix pastry without getting my hands on it. I'm sorry. Okay, because it's a feel thing. See how some of this is kind of coming together, but the rest of it is left? That means my flour is probably a little bit dry. I don't know why it would be. It's here in humid Houston, but it seems like it is. So pardon me while I've gone over to the refrigerator and grabbed a little bit more cream. And I'm probably going to add, I'm going to get down to this dry, crumbly part, and I'm just going to add about a tablespoon in there. And then we'll really be able to stir it in there and get everything else to come together, I hope. Another tablespoon. And then what I'm going to do after I stir this all together is I'm going to set the bowl aside for just a sec. I'm going to put a piece of plastic wrap down. Actually, first what I'm going to do is dust the surface and see if I can get this to come together like that, just by grabbing up a big ball of it and bringing it together on the floured surface. Okay? Once you can grab it and make a ball come together like this, then your oven timer goes off. Seriously. Once you can grab it together and make it into a kind of a flat ball like this, all you need to do is get a piece of cling film and then wrap it up. You need to refrigerate this dough really well before you roll it out. You can even freeze it at this point and then bring it out to use later. This is half of the dough. Just got it wrapped up in cling film, and I'm going to do the other half and stick that in the refrigerator too before we can use it. Okay, here's the other little round of dough, and you can see I've got two nice sized pieces of dough. I'm going to put these in the refrigerator and let them chill, and I'm going to use them to make some hand pies. This is the same recipe that I used to make the peach hand pies, so if you want to try making this kind of mock puff pastry for any kind of hand pie, a savory pie, a sweet pie, or even as a topping on like a chicken pot pie in a big casserole dish, it works great for all of that. And it does freeze really well. You can make it up ahead like this, put it in a Ziploc bag, and just keep it in your freezer till you're ready to use it. Just thaw it in the refrigerator for a few hours before you need to use it. Enjoy this, and thanks to Mary's mom-in-law.